Beware the Ides of March. It's an ancient warning that Julius Caesar did not heed back in the times of the Roman Republic, and it cost him his life. In the US, in the 21st century, next week, the day after the Ides of March, the US has its own question and its own warning that it needs to take heed. This question or this warning is the debt limit. On March 16th, the deal that Obama and the previous Congress made to basically keep our federal government solvent runs out. And so the question becomes, does Congress give the Treasury the ability to keep borrowing more money in order to keep our system going as is, or do they put a stop to it somehow? My recommendation is, surprisingly perhaps to a few, to keep borrowing and to keep going. The reasoning is this: the entire economic system, the entire Federal Reserve System is based on nothing. The currency is based on and backed by nothing at all except for the power of the federal government, of the United States government. We know that at some point this entire system is going to collapse. The money is worthless by any real stretch of the imagination. It's backed by no real solid substance, and it actually can be created out of thin air. It doesn't even have to be printed anymore. You can actually go to a bank, and through fractional reserve lending, they can actually hit a computer key and create money. So the money is backed by nothing. It's funny money. At some point, this entire system is going to crash. Most economists agree with that. At some point, we are not going to be able to keep going the way we are going. For that reason, I say yes, go ahead and raise the limit, because the money's funny anyway. It's really worthless anyway. We might as well use it while we have it. Take that money and use it to rebuild our infrastructure, to modernize and update our military, to make any kind of improvements we need to make before the entire system goes. There could be a reason why the debt limit is not raised. It's not agreed to on or around March 16th. Typically, that's going to be for political purposes. Now, what's interesting is whenever monetary policy is discussed, politics are not far behind. The two are linked up. The old saying goes, if you dictate someone's monetary policy, if you control their money, it really doesn't matter who controls their actual lawmaking. Because if you control someone's resources and monetary supply, you control them. Here's where the political aspect comes into play for this discussion. A lot of my friends are states' rights believers. They believe in a very narrow constriction of the federal government, and that the power of the people is actually based on the states. The states are the real power. They created the federal government, and that's where the true power in our system resides. I tend to agree with that model. I don't think it's realistic at the moment, however. The reasoning is because of this Federal Reserve monetary system we have, the power does not truly reside with the states at the moment. The power resides with the federal government because it has this ability to write a blank check to whomever it pleases. That could be a foreign government, it could be corporations, it could be the states themselves. Whenever the federal government has a blank check to offer the states in the form of inducements or threats, in the form of the carrot or the stick, that state and its residents and its citizens don't truly have the power guaranteed to them by the Constitution or enumerated in the Constitution. The power at that point resides with the federal government. So states' rights in a narrow definition of the federal government and its responsibilities, I would actually agree, is the ideal for our country and our people. At the present time, however, with this Federal Reserve System in place, it's not a realistic way to operate because currently the federal government has all the power. It has the power of the purse. Until that changes, a states' rights platform is not going to be a realistic way to operate in this country. Idealistically, I would agree it's close to perfect. Realistically, at this point in time, it's not practical. When the Federal Reserve System changes, when it crashes, when our monetary system is altered in some way, and the federal government does not have that ability to just write a blank check and spend into oblivion, that's when you're going to see the political pendulum start to swing back into the states' rights arena. That's where you're going to see a more narrowly defined federal government and a more closely followed constitution. My 2 cents, just look around, see what's going on as far as the way the government operates, and you'll see that's true. So in the short term, my recommendation is this: go ahead and raise the debt limit, use the money while we have it to spend on infrastructure, to spend on military improvements, to spend on all the internal improvements we need to make before this monetary system collapses. After the collapse, I think you're going to see some changes that are going to move us back into the direction of that states' rights model. So my 2 cents, as it were, on the monetary system. Beware the Ides of March next week, and hail Caesar. I'll talk to you later. God bless you.